some of these around his ankles.
He probably does.
Yeah. Oh, well, he might like that too.
Like I said, I know a lot of people know your grandparents, Chris, and they know the stories from the the movies and all that other stuff. But tell us about yourself. Like what are you all about, and what's the foundation all about? Yeah, leave me out. It's been trying to leave me out of this whole show.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's been crazy. So yeah, everybody, just so you all know tonight, Dana is going to actually kind of run the show. Well, hello. This is a surprise Saturday night show. Just wanted to get on for a little bit and talk about a couple things. I hope you don't mind the fan noise in the background. It's pretty hot today here in Toledo, Ohio. It's very, very hot and muggy, so we've got fans going all over the place. I'm just coming off a fresh meal. So Dana is out this weekend. She's doing the Shamanic Journeys class, and so she's out. I hadn't heard from her. I was beginning to wonder if they sacrificed her or something like that, but she finally chimed in today, so she's safe for now. That may be tonight's ritual for the Shamanic Journeys class. Let's see. Let's go over here to the comments. So who's in here? I see one person watching. This is probably a bad night to do the show because I think half the people that watch my show are out at the Shamanic Journeys class. But yeah, so that's where we're at with that. But so anyway, I guess where I was going is anytime she goes out of town or goes away or anything like that, I try to make myself something that I know she doesn't like, but I love. So tonight it was beef stroganoff. She's not a big mushrooms fan, so that's what I made, and it's loaded with mushrooms. Hey, Butch, how you doing? So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit tonight. Maybe I'll give it a couple more minutes before I really get into the topic and see if anybody jumps on. But as I've told you guys, that I'm now the regional director for the Warren Legacy Foundation, and so that has put me in a position to where lately I've been making a lot of training videos. We have a very specific intake process as far as how we intake clients, and one of the things that we do is we do video interviews with the clients and several directors or team members or whoever needs to be involved in the case. We have access to therapists, medical people. So I mean, we have a really good network of members that are in all fields, paranormal, and actually, I guess the therapist isn't a paranormal field, but it's definitely useful because a lot of the cases so far that I've seen, there might be a paranormal element to it, but most of the cases are not rooted in the paranormal, meaning that, the house is haunted and there's nothing wrong with them. A lot of the cases that we get are people that have issues to begin with. We did one the other day where the guy he does coke and meth and drinks a lot, so he's highly functional. I mean, he was a little hyper in the interview, but not, had he not admitted to that, I would have never jumped to that conclusion. But drugs can mess with your mind. It can mess with what you see, what you think you see, and of course, to that person, it's very, very real. So they're going to think it's paranormal and not drug related. But this case actually, I think, does have a paranormal element to it as well. Sorry, I had to reload myself. So one thing, doing these videos for the foundation, I see we got a couple people in here. Can everybody say hi in the comments so I know who's watching, so I can give you a shout out? So I'm doing and if you guys want to talk about something else too, that's fine. Go ahead and chime in, ask a question, just whatever. But I'm doing these intake interviews and I'm turning them into training videos by anonymizing the client, because we never, ever, ever want people to know who it is that we're talking to, where they're from. Any data that's personal in any way gets blocked or blurred out or whatever. So, so I think, I'm trying to think, in the last 6 weeks probably. Hey Sue, how you doing? I've sat in on 5 or 6 interviews, I think, and I've watched, you know, let's say 7 to 10, somewhere in there in the last 6 weeks or so of these interviews that I've watched. Some I haven't sat in on; I just watched after the fact. You know, some are disturbing. This we actually have one coming up tomorrow. We're going to do an interview, and I'm really, I don't want to say I'm scared for the guy, but this is, but I am. I mean, it's this. I've talked to him already. Um, he has a starting point as to when his paranormal activity started, and it's a bad starting point. He lost a relative and got pissed off at God and went outside the church and kind of cussed him out. And then he started getting into black magic and Ouija boards and spells and curses and witchcraft and just all this nasty negative stuff. And so that started to affect him. So he quit doing that, and he took all this stuff out to a field and burned it all. And then paranormal activity started at his house for a while. We got to find out what actually ended it and stuff like that. Um, but so yeah, that's a case we need to look into more. But it seems like most of the cases that I've looked at have one thing in common. It is the paranormal predators. That's what I call like these psychics that run around and tell people, you know, that it's the show, the one TV show with the cop and the psychic. Like, why can't I think of the name? Um, but one thing I've always hated about the ghost shows, I mean, a lot of people hate a lot of things about them, but one thing that's always bothered me is they go into these people's houses, tell them it's haunted, but there's never a solution. They never stay to help them get rid of the problem. Like I've heard that Amy person tell clients to sell the house or move, or what you need to do is you need to find a warlock and a shaman that practices this, and like you just go on Facebook and look up Toledo warlocks. I mean, how I wouldn't even, I'm connected with paranormal people, and I wouldn't even really know how to look for a warlock. Certainly I think that's something you want to, a position that you'd want somebody that's trusted to be in if you're having them cleanse your house. But I mean, it's always bothered me that these paranormal shows, they go there, they get their footage, they do their investigation, and then they're gone. See you later. You're on your own. Sorry. But so that's for TV. What's even worse is these cases that I'm watching and turning into training videos and things like that are that is a common element in all of them. Almost every one of them has had a psychic tell them something. They've had a paranormal team tell them something. And most of the time it goes into possession. Um, they've had exorcisms performed on them. So, by that, that's another irritating thing too. There are so many people that claim that they can do exorcisms. So many people that claim that they can do deliverance ceremonies or rituals or whatever. So many people run around and claim that they can get rid of demons, and I think they want everybody to believe that they have a demonic possession or something like that, so they can show off their skills that they don't have. I gotta think, I do know people that have really encountered demons. One of them is, well, there's several in the Warren Foundation that you know confirmed and it's been written about. Who's an alcohol? I think Jen is chiming in. She wants it's like a fortune cookie reading for Boo. Boo is in the window looking for her mom. It's very, very sad. She's up there. She's got her little crystals. She's got a couple little toys in there, and she's just been sitting at the window looking for mom to come home. His mom never came home yesterday after work. So, yeah, these paranormal teams are absolutely scaring the loving crap out of everyone they talk to. They give such bad advice. They, one lady had a guy. I don't know if she looked him up on Facebook or if she commented on a paranormal group or something like that. But um, this guy contacted her right away. She was in grave danger. It was so bad, and he was from way out of state. He said, "It's so bad that I will be there tomorrow. But what you need to do in the meantime is go put salt in front of all your windows and doorways, and I don't know. He told her a bunch of just goofball stuff to do. So he's got her all freaked out that she's, got a demon living in her house, and and he's going to come take care of it tomorrow. Well, tomorrow never came. He never came out. So why even? I don't understand what you have to gain by doing that. You go in a paranormal group, you see somebody that really has a need for help, which there's a lot of these posts in paranormal groups that people that just don't understand stuff. Hey Jerry, how's it going? And they really are looking for help. Some are looking for attention. A lot of them, they'll post a orb video 2 or 3 times a day, and if you tell them it's a dust or a mosquito or something like that, then it's World War III time in the paranormal group. So I try and stay out of those. I do try and offer help if I see people that makes a comment. There was one in a page yesterday where this lady was, she had orb videos and had a picture of a figure on the doorway, which, in my opinion, just looking at the stuff, neither were legit. And it's not, it's not really her fault, because these people post this stuff all the time, and people, chime in and defend and say, yes, it is. And, hang on a second, Jen. I think Boo might actually come in. So, I bet you I can bribe her anything. Boo, would you like a reading? Would Bubba and Boo both like readings? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to stand up. Ooh, fortune cookie time. Boo, look what I got. So I told this later. One of her concerns were that her dad had just passed away. That's another common thing, too, is that a lot of times, people tend to have paranormal activity when a relative passes away or something like that. And a lot of times it's they just want their loved one to be there, which that's completely understandable. And so they get the cameras out, they record things, and if they see dust, they think, oh, that's my dad. But this lady was all concerned that her dad was going to harm her, his spirit being there. And first I tried to calm her down about what she had captured and said, look, this is what it is. A couple posts about that back and forth. And then I asked her the question. I said, so, you seem to be afraid that your dad's spirit is in the house and you think he's going to harm you. So I said, did your dad ever harm you in real life? And she said, oh, no, my dad loved me to death. And, and I said, so why would you think that your dad is going to harm you, if his spirit's in your house? Why would he come up and just hit you? Like, it just made absolutely no sense to me. Hopefully I helped a little bit. Some people I've directed to the foundation when they asked. Dalton loves me for that. So let's take a pause here on the topic and see if these little puppies would like a reading. Would you guys like a reading? I know I'm really not trying to wear this joke out, but when we do a show, the dogs like the fortune cookies. You can't help it. And I'm going to give them a little treat because they're not home. So Boo's fortune for the day is your future will be happy and productive. I think that's ironic that I think that's the exact same one that she got last time. Very interesting. Let's see. I'm going to try and get them to jump up here because Jenna wants to see, but they're both here just mowing on the house. Okay, so they both got a fortune. We'll do a couple more tonight. The doggies need treats. So yeah, that was the paranormal groups is a great resource for just horrible information. People will post pictures, and then other people will tell them it's a demon, it's evil. I feel a dark presence looking at that picture. It's like, how do you feel a dark presence by looking at a picture that was taken of a window and there's a reflection of a tree in it that someone thinks is a person? And then they've zoomed in on it 5,000 times, so it's all blurry. So you have a blurry tree picture in a window, and then people are going to get on there and tell them that it's evil and it's bad and they should be careful. And then they start giving advice. They start telling them what they should do, which is always laughable too. Sage is way overused in the paranormal community. There you go, Bubba. Sage does not get rid of spirits. There's Bubba. From what I understand, from what I'm told, to me, it makes sense. So the theory is that these ghosts are, human spirits, or a lot of them are humans that have passed away and they're wandering the earth for whatever reason we don't know. But they are in death as they were in life, as far as their personality and their traits and and all that stuff. So why is something like sage going to, let's say I passed away and I decided I wanted to live in this house forever. How is you blowing sage around? Ouch, stop it. How is someone walking around blowing sage around going to get rid of it? If I want to stay here and they're running around with sage, I'm going to laugh at them. So, like I said, we all run around. And another thing too is, and this we're going to get into. We're doing that class out at Owens. We're doing a class out at Owens College, and one of the topics is going to be EMF. Like, I don't know why EMF equals ghosts. I know the theories that people say, but it's like, has it ever been scientifically proven? I don't think it has. At least none that I've ever seen. There's very, very little real science that takes place in the paranormal world. I know there's some, and I'm not saying that there's absolutely none, but like, compared to the amount of people that are out there, doing investigations and ghost hunts and all that other stuff, there's very, very little actual scientific info. There's one study that interested me was a study on Ouija boards. There was some Ouija board convention or something. This was in somewhere over in Europe, I don't remember where. But so they had people wear glasses that had cameras on them that pointed at their pupils. And what else did they do? But anyway, so they recorded the eye movement, and they probably recorded some other things too. But so they determined that basically your eyes predict what you're going to do, whether you voluntarily do it, or not, or you think it's happening on its own, but your eyes will predict it before you actually do it. That was the conclusion that they came up to. And they also then did pairs. And so the pairs ended up, so if two people were touching the planchette, it would end up that it was very, very slow to get like the first word. But it's because your brains are kind of matching. Your brain is trying to cycle through words that you can make. Like, let's say the first thing you hit is an S. So your brain is going to start thinking of S words. And so it takes a while for the two people connect to get that first letter or two or three. But then as more letters come, it goes quicker because your brain starts to predict the word easier, and it's easier to sync up with the other person. So, but there was an actual scientific study that's been done on YouTube boards. It's I don't know of any others that have ever been done. The Philip experiment, that's another one I've talked about on the show several times. It's another really interesting thing. It's where they did a study where they had students, they would meet once a week and talk about their friend Philip. Except their friend Philip never existed. It's a complete fictional character. They gave him all kinds of character traits. They basically came up with Philip's personality. Once a week, they'd go sit there and talk about this. And then as time went on, people were noticing, like, they would have an encounter at their house, and it would be Philip. So the thinking is that they actually manifested something that was interacting with them, and it was I think it was like American College. I'm not sure. I should probably actually do a little show prep one of these years and print some stuff out and look at it first. Looks like Jenna's posting something in the comments. Is this like Jerry Springer, or let's see what this says. Oh, I can't click on it. This is either Jerry Springer, or coming from Jenna, it's probably a poor little homeless dog picture that wants a fortune cookie. Just kidding. Yeah, it doesn't show a picture of Jenna. All it shows is the link. So, okay, predictive minds and Ouija board systems. So I'm going to put that up again. It isn't. I guess I don't need to put it up. It is in the comments if anybody wants to go look it up. And if Jerry's still watching, I guarantee you he's already on it. Like I said, these paranormal predators are a huge problem because they're really causing people to have real problems. And if let's say you come across somebody who's schizophrenic or something like that, they're hearing voices telling them to shoot themselves and their wife, and you go telling them that, oh yeah, dude, you're demon possessed. I mean, you can cause a murder or suicide or something like that. I so I just don't understand what's in it for these people to do or to gain from it. It's there's people even in town that they call themselves paranormal investigators, but if you don't let them put your house on YouTube or for a documentary or something like that, they don't care. They're not going to come to your house. They don't want to help you. Unless they get content out of it, they're not interested. And I'm not saying put the owners on camera or anything like that, but they want to film at your house, which, in the past, I haven't done it in a long time, but in the past, I had a section there where if it was okay to film in someone's houses, as long as we, made it to where their identity is completely hidden, so that there's no clues in any videos of who they are, where they live, or that. So, but that's wasn't the main motivation for going into houses. It truly was to help people. And, if you could get a capture out of the thing or something like that, then it's all good. Or at least it was. I mean, my mind was kind of shifted a little bit. Let's see. Jerry chimed in with, it is simply people either wanting to be famous or trying to have advantage of people. I think trying to take advantage of people, especially if they're charging. That's absolutely true. One of the ladies, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this on the show before. One of the people that I did one of these videos for, and this video is actually on Patreon, so it's on the Warren Legacy Foundation Patreon page. We've, like I said, anonymized it, but in there again, our motivation isn't to, oh, look at this is cool, because I'll be honest with you, it's well over 2 hours long, and it's a lot of people. Like, if you're looking for a ghost show or a ghost story, it's incredibly boring. But if you really want to see what a real paranormal case looks like, it's fascinating. There is so much in these interviews that, and in this particular one, I don't even think there's any real legit paranormal issues going on. I think it's more health related. I think it's more because of what people have told her, and we still have to help those people. And that's, I think of a lot of paranormal teams actually saw that video and realized that, oh, that's what a real case looks like. I don't know that they do it. Or, and here again, I'm not picking on, if you want to be a ghost hunter and go to Mansfield and the state prison and go record and capture ghosts, I mean, that's great. I like to do that too. We've gone to places like that before. It's the motivation is to capture activity or to do experiments or to get a picture or to get EVPs. I mean, there again, I'm not judging anybody for doing that, because that is kind of fun. Being a ghost hunter is kind of fun. But the paranormal investigations with residential cases, that is definitely not. It's hardly ever fun. I mean, it's these people are. I mean, they're really, really, truly scared, and it's very sad that most of them have been talked into being scared. I think I've shared this too. One stop it, Bill. One of the clients, this team actually put her house on their website, but they had Photoshopped orbs. But then they sent her the pictures and said, oh, look, you got orbs here, you got black shadows. They had all the pictures and, hey, stop it, folks. And, they had pictures that they had taken from her house. And to me, it was obviously fake. All of their orbs looked identical, and they were nothing like any other orb I've ever seen. So, and then I went to their website, and they captured the same orbs at every location they went to. Every orb they had on photograph was the exact same color, shape. Sizes were different. What are you doing? Hey, stop it. Stop it. Why are you barking at this box? She's barking at a box and now she's eating it. What's wrong with you? Here. So, that's, like I said, it's a big problem. It really does damage people. I don't think that they realize how much it does. I think most of them just want to have a cool orb picture on their website. There you go, Bubs. Yeah, I think that's the motivation. So, does anybody have any questions or anything that they'd like to talk about? I feel like I'm running on and on talking about the same stuff. Oh, let me hit this real quick. So, like I said, the one case interview is on our Patreon page, Born Legacy Foundation Patreon. It's so here's what we got going on, and here's what we got coming up. So right now we do have three shows that are running. One of them is called Warren Files Declassified, and it's a show about like old Warren cases. I think we're going to do some CIA conspiracy stuff, some UFO stuff, maybe some cryptids. It's not always paranormal investigation related. It's anything in the paranormal community. So that's one show that we do. We also do a show where Chris McKinnell, the founder, is reading the book The Demonologist, which is Ed and Lorraine Warren's famous one of their books that talks about a lot of their cases. Last week the chapter was the Annabelle story. That was actually pretty fascinating. And I don't know if the books are like a lot of the movies, maybe sensationalized a bit. They're probably a lot more accurate though than the movies. But I bet they take a little bit of liberty because I don't think the Warrens actually wrote it. I think it's I think they had an author write it for them. So there's probably some liberty taken to make things a little more interesting than they already were. So so that's a show, and then another one we have is kind of a follow-up show to that. It's the Chris McKinnell gives his commentary on each chapter that he reads. So he's actually finding that I don't want to say he disagrees with his grandparents, but he definitely does a lot of things different than what his grandparents did. He kind of faults them a little bit. I mean, not faults them, but he just kind of, they did sensationalize things and take private client information, to the news crews, like the Amityville News. Actually, no, that one they didn't take, but there were some cases that they took and made. They didn't protect people's identity, and that's one thing that he disagrees with, one of their methods. But obviously, he learned a ton from them. And Joe Frankie too. He's another the guy. If he ever watches this, which he probably won't, but he probably thinks I'm this crazy fanboy because he's just one of those guys that you talk to him and he's just absolutely fascinating. He's got stories for days. But it's one of those in every story there's a lesson. The other night I talked to him, I think for an hour. It was about a case. I learned a lot in that hour, and it's but it's like a very fun method of getting a lesson. The guy, like I said, his stories. We're gonna have him on again, and we gotta nail down about 2 or 3 stories because he can go long and get sidetracked pretty easy. So, but he's got just fascinating stories and just a wealth of knowledge to add. He's helped at least hundreds of people, I'm assuming, throughout his career. He was directly trained by Ed Lorraine. He was actually handpicked by Lorraine Warren, and I don't want to tell the story because if he comes on the show, he's going to tell it. But yeah, he was handpicked by them, kind of random. So, but I forgot where I was even going with any of that. So yeah, it was I don't know. I feel like I see there's a couple people watching, but nobody's commenting because I really like to talk about something you guys want to hear. Or we can just end it early. It doesn't matter. This was a pop-up show. We are going to get back on our regular Thursday night schedule here starting in September. We've got we're doing a class at our homes with Tobes, and And so we're not going to be on for the next 3 weeks because we already did one class. So I will be out the next 3 weeks. And then September rolls around and we start getting into, library lectures and things like that. So there's going to be lots of opportunities to talk about ghosts here in the next few months. So yeah, there we have it. This is an incredibly long show. So I think it will. I think I'll wrap it up because I do have some stuff to do. Let me go. I always do this. I end the show 4 times before I actually end it. So a few more things that are coming up on Patreon. This one is a confirmed thing that we're going to start here in probably 2 or 3 weeks. But we're going to do, like, for Patreon supporters, we have 4 levels. There's 5, 10, 15, and 25. And each level has different perks and different access to things and stuff like that. But so for the $10 and up a month level, so anybody that's at least $10 a month, we're going to start doing like forum type shows where it'll be just a roundtable discussion by anybody that has the link that wants to join. And we're going to have specific topics that we're going to talk about, just basically let everybody talk. And one of the regional directors who handles our UFO stuff, his name is Sam Torville. He actually does that with one of the UFO channels that he does Patreon stuff for. So he does it on there. He loves it. He says it draws people, and it's a cool thing to do, and a way to have good conversations, and everybody can learn from everybody else. So that's a show we're going to start doing pretty soon. Is that forum type show? We're also going to do a couple Q&As with Chris McKinnell sometime very soon. And, he's just going to come on and anybody can ask any question they want. I think that's going to be the same thing as like the forum. I think you can actually join the show. But there again, it'll be for Patreon. It won't be a live show because I don't think you can do live shows on Patreon. But, it'll be an open invite, kind of like a Zoom meeting. It'll be pretty cool. So. And then we're going to do an evidence review show that's still in the works. That one's going to be, there's going to be a lot more production to that one. And that's why it hasn't launched yet, because I've really got wrapped up with casework and a bunch of other video things and stuff like that. So I haven't had a chance to really work on that like I want to yet. But when that comes out, that's going to be pretty cool. I think I've said it before. It's going to be kind of like the Osbournes Want to Believe, and mixed with like some of these YouTubers do reaction videos where they'll listen to a song for the first time and react. So we're going to go over paranormal clips, people's evidence stuff, and react to them and see, hey, that's pretty sweet, or whoa, scary, or whatever. So that's a show that we're going to do. And then where in the world is Chris McKinnell? So Chris, I'm having a bad hair day where I would take this hat off because I'm sweating crazy. Chris McKinnell is traveling the world right now, and he's taking a lot of pictures and videos and sending them to me, and he's hitting paranormal sites throughout the world. He's going to haunted places. He's helping people. He's going to places that aren't haunted. He's going to God, I forget what they're called, but it's they're like gosh, I don't know. They're these big like things that people think aliens may have done because they're so old, and on the scale that they're at, it's like, how would a person have done that? How would people have done that? It's kind of like the pyramids. A lot of people think pyramids were built by the aliens or alien technology or whatever. So, it's kind of like that. There's a lot of that kind of stuff out there that he's going to be filming at. We're going to kind of make it a little game lesson type thing, like, guess where he's at. But the real draw is going to be, there's a lot of cool stories about these cultures that, that are very interesting. Some of these people have lived out in the desert for thousands of years, and there's reasons as to why and how. So we're going to start featuring some of that stuff. But again, that's all going to be on Patreon. It's I think some of it will probably make it to YouTube, but for now it's going to be Patreon. So I'm not going to bore you guys anymore. This is just a quick jump on show. I just wanted to get out for a couple minutes and, I don't know, chat. I'm bored. like I said, Dana's out doing her shamanic journeys thing, and I needed to take a break from putting videos together because that's what I've been doing pretty much today. So, but I am going to get back to doing that. I have to do the demonologist, the chapter 3 commentary. I need to put that together and post that up. So, thank you all for watching. There's a short audience, but that's cool. I get it. We've got to, I have to advertise better. I have to not just say at 4:30 on a Saturday in the summer that, hey, I'm putting on in 20 minutes. So anyway, thank you all for joining. Actually, I'll show this video real quick. This is the Where in the World is Chris McKenna show I did. Here's the intro for it.
Come in, command. This is Ghost Hunter. Over. We got your Ghost Hunter. What do you need? Command, we are dropping off the payload. Where's Chris? It's in full operation. Copy, Ghost Hunter.
Hi everyone, how's it going? Well, I'm not going to tell you where I am. Instead, I'm going to give you the chance to figure it out for yourself. We are doing some real fun stuff on our Patreon account now. All of that we earn there goes to supporting the foundation and helping families. But besides Warren Files Declassified, where we get into some real deep subjects, exclusive access to case interviews. Of course, we anonymize our clients so that nobody can ever figure out who they are, but it gives you a chance to see how we work. And travel videos and other exclusive content. We're starting something else that's brand new. Oh, I also forgot to mention, we do the readings for the demonologist and my personal commentary and discussion on each chapter. But we're starting something fun too. What we're doing now is called Where in the World is Chris McKenna? Just a little bit of fun. So I've been all around the world, from Africa to Asia, Middle East, you name it. I've probably been there, except for Australia and New Zealand's on my list, probably this fall. But right now, where am I?
So there you have it. That's kind of the idea for that show. It's I think pretty cool to highlight his travels, and he's this is probably like 5th grade education stuff. But the other day I was chatting back and forth with him, and he's complaining about how cold it is, and I'm like, dude, you're in Peru. Well, it's winter there. Duh. They're south of the equator, so it's winter where he's at. And we're up here sitting, sweating our butts off talking to him, and he's down there freezing, putting coats and sweaters on and wearing mama stuff. So it's kind of funny. But yeah. So I mean, if you feel like you'd want to support something like that, check out their Patreon page and go ahead and become a supporter. Like I said, I'm going to dip out because it's low numbers tonight, which is fine. I understand it's Saturday. And to be honest with you, I really struggle doing these by myself. I don't know why. I keep wanting to try to get better, but I just, like I said, I think if I had some show prep first, that would make things a lot easier. So, anyway, we will see you next time. Like I said, it will not be Thursday. I don't know when it'll be, but we'll be on again soon. So talk to you.